Okay, students, I wanted to go over two things today. As I've gone through and done some grading on your first reading articles, I've noticed two things that crop up, or excuse me, pop up all the time, and that is in your thought questions and then checking your emails on this program. When you go through a lesson and you get to your thought question, there's a thought question at the end of the article. It asks you a generic answer, or excuse me, a generic question about the article, and it kind of leaves it very broad. So that gives you a lot of different ways to go in as far as how you want to take your question. However, outside of just this question, there are also key things they want you to include inside of it to make it a more thoughtful response. So if you click on include in your answer, it tells you specifically what they would like to see in your specific answer. As far as make sure you write 2 paragraphs, introduce the topic clearly, organize your ideas, develop the topic with facts and definitions and quotes from the article in which you read, link ideas within and across categories of information. These things are specific to what you just read, and these are skills they want you to look at. So you have to make sure that you're clicking on that to make sure you see what is required for that particular response. If you don't do that, I'm going to give you an incomplete or a 1 because you haven't hit the minimum requirements for that response. So if it takes you, if you're only doing 3 articles a week and it takes you about an hour and a half to do each article, that's fine. I want you to do thoughtful written responses, not just a quick blurb about how you thought about the article. That's not adequate enough to receive credit for the assignment, but it's also not adequate enough for you to get better and better as a writer. So these steps are in place to help you get better as a writer. And if you don't know how to do that, you should be meeting with me once a week, 1-to-1, to go over your writing and your reading and for this English class. If you're not meeting with me yet, you're probably struggling in the class, and or you're not completing any of the work in the class thus far. The other thing, or the second point, is to make sure you guys go to your mailbox. Inside your mailbox, you can find the response from me under Teacher Peyton as to what I said about your article. And I give you specific feedback about everything you write. It pops right in your mailbox. You can look at it, go back and fix your writing, and then resubmit it, and I can give you another grade on it. If you're not doing these two things yet, or you're like, I don't know what he's talking about, you probably have not met with me as of yet for this class, which is a concern going forward. So please, please, please make sure you're contacting me.